hospital. I don't know. I like being a good host whenever I have people over. So, they walk in the door, whether they're staying long or not, I will offer them food. Hey, you want something to eat, something to drink? This is, I got water, juice, food, whatever. I said food. So, ultimately, if I don't have accommodations, I do feel weird about it. I have a PlayStation 2. I have a PS2. I have, no movies. I don't have two-player games. I have Grand Theft Auto and, I think Resident Evil 4, and that's it right now. Because, like I mentioned before, Raina was under the impression that we would have to sell all of our stuff, and then I think we ended up spending money because she likes to be a fucking spender. She likes to live off the bare minimum. She likes to have at least a roof over her head. Big deal. She could live with her mom for that. But yeah, so ultimately, I had to get rid of all my games. We sold them to half-price books, and I probably got $1.25 is my guess. I had probably, I don't know how many games, and I think I mentioned this in the last video now that I remember. I had a handful of games. Sell them to GameStop, sell them to used, to a local game shop that will take old PlayStation 2 games or DVDs. We could have made $100 or $2, $100 or $200 or whatever. But no, we sold them to half-price books, where my entire game and movie collection, however many that may have been, got maybe $5. I had Crash Bandicoot. I had, I had however many big names and small titles and whatnot, and we got nothing for it. We sold all of her movies and all of her movies, all of her DVDs and all of her books, and we got nothing out of it. We got maybe I think 120 out of everything. We brought totes and totes of stuff. I don't know, 20 totes of shit, on multiple trips. And I don't even think we could pay rent because of it, We moved out, and I have a list of movies that I now have to replace, and a list of games that I have to replace. And now, I guess, since I'm alone and I'm doing my own finances, fuck yeah, I'm going to replace them. I'm going to buy them all back, and I'm going to get newer stuff, too. There are games that I want that I was never able to buy. Whether it's older games for PlayStation or N64, which I do have an N64, so I just don't play it. Due to the fact that, if you remember the N64, the power cord was half of the system in the back. So I just call it a power pack. But yeah, someone, when I lived in Pigeon Forge, stole all of my cords and cables, and so I have a handful of N64 games and a non-playable N64, or half an N64 as I like to call it. So yeah, since I know how to budget, it's not going to take very long to acquire everything that I need, especially if I'm doing things right and paying my rent and paying my bills. I owe my brother John money, and I told him today, I was like, dude, I know I've owed you money for 2 years now, but still, what all I've gone through, and I haven't been able to keep a job long enough in order to pay you. But, I'm keeping this job. It seems promising. It seems like I'm going to actually work full-time, go from part-time to full-time, possibly even be a shift leader. So, wow. Actually, I'm getting this weird vibe right now, mind-blown type thing, kind of a state of shock, because I haven't slept very much at all, this past week since we broke up. One reason is, like I've said, I think in a previous video, I know I previously recorded, I don't know if it got uploaded or not yet. I think it did. It's the part 2 of the, the pissed off rant, 25-minute video that I recorded earlier, that this is going to be as well part of, even though it's recorded separately. And I think the part 2 of my new diet and what I eat now and why video series. I might have mentioned it on there, but I've all of my jobs I consider grunt work. You know, it's entry position, entry position jobs. So me becoming a shift leader is actually a big deal. I've never gotten a promotion ever, even if I worked full time. You know, so ultimately, actually, I think I want to do milk, considering I already had plenty of that. Trying to grab something to help coat my throat. I made a smoothie earlier, so ultimately I have leftovers I still need a drink, but I think I'm going to drink milk because you should realistically only have X amount of berries and smoothie and only X amount of, you know, fruits and veggies. You eat too much, and it's just like everything else in the world. Too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing, and it can actually mess your body up in one way or another. Especially in my health state. I can't speak. Sore throat's really kicking in, so. We've had some rain and thunderstorms the last few days, or last week or two, on and off. To one degree or another, it's either been raining or storming. So even though I work all day and I'm indoors, it does still, you know, affect a person. So yeah. Pretty much I think that this might be the beginning of Omega Alpha, or Alpha Omega, depending on how you look at it. And everyone knows what those two ancient Greek words mean. It just means beginning and end, or end of the beginning type thing. So, you know, I think that this end of the relationship is a good beginning chapter of good things to come. Like I've said, Raina would spend money we didn't even have. I know how to save money and spend only when I need to, and I know how to save up money for things that I want. So, ultimately, I'm going to pay my rent, I'm going to pay John back, I'm going to pay my mom back because she actually helped me get this place. She put like, I think almost $2,000 and gave it to me, and she actually borrowed it from someone else that she's the caretaker of. So she's like, well, you know, he's in a hospital, he's really not going to miss it, but the fact that it's not mine and I shouldn't do this, try and pay me back sooner than, you know, 6 months from now. And unfortunately, it's already been 6 months, give or take, maybe 4, but I'm just now getting a steady job. So everyone on YouTube, please, if you watch this, pray that my situation in life, and my life and my health and everything ultimately gets better. Even if you're stumbling upon this not in the same month or year or anything, like even if this video isn't current, know that I've been through a lot, and just pray that to whoever your God and religion is, you know, those people will hear your prayers, and that's all that matters, is that a prayer is received and given and everything, you know. So just pray that our world gets better, that it can heal from all the destruction that we've done in such a short amount of time. And as you all know, it takes less time to destroy things than it does create things. So hopefully all of the warmongering and the planet eating and destruction, the global warming, the resources that we're plundering, hopefully we can start healing the planet, and hopefully we can start healing ourselves and healing each other. So everyone out there, just please pray for me that life gets better, that I don't end up homeless ever again, that I can get a car, and that that your life gets better. You know, pray for me, pray for yourselves, and pray for our planet, and pray for life to prosper, and for destruction and death to cease. I mean, you can't stop death, but at the same time, you know what I mean, that human beings will stop becoming greedy, and will realize and wake up all the things that we've destroyed. And I can speak for what I have seen alone, and I know that here in America, we're starting to do alternatives. We're starting to stray away from plastic, or we're starting to recycle more and say, I don't know what BPA or whatever it is. If you live in the States, then you probably see this a lot. You know, when you get something with a sticker on it that says like, BPA free or whatever. BPA free in food zone. That's what I was reading. This blender that I bought, the box that says BPA free in food zone, whatever that means. Which I'm guessing it's how they treat plastic when they create it. So I just pray that we can have more free things in the world, that we can all be kinder to people, that we can not poison ourselves with plastic and unhealthy things. I mean, look at landfills, look at the ocean, look at all these things that stick around until ultimately they are beaten, and sun died and deteriorate and everything, and it takes them so long to do so, to have the elements affect them. Pray that we can actually get the natural way of doing everything and a more environmentally clean and animal friendly, human friendly, planet friendly things. I pray for these things, and I'm actually praying as I record this. Pretty much everything that I'm saying while I've been talking about this last segment, the last little bit, is pretty much me praying and sending that prayer and that vibe out to the cyber world and onto YouTube. So, I pray all these things will come true in time, in our world, that we will be less destructive and more peaceful amongst ourselves and amongst all animals and beings of life. And I ask this and say these things in the name, me being pagan, but also being raised Christian and Mormon. I'm just going to give an outro. Forgive me if I have ignorance of other religions, but I'm just going to try and assume that anyone who's watching this, we're all praying together,